what's up, y'all? This is Oris, coming at you with one of my first tutorials. I'm very blessed to be able to share many of the things I've learned over the years, and I believe that the focus through this video will definitely bless someone out there and cause them to gain confidence and definitely play with that extra confidence and to be able to minister to God's people on any given day. So what I want to teach in this video would be centered around, I would say, for the most part, slash chords. So what slash chords are in general are just chords that are played that have different voicings depending on which hand you're using. So if you're playing like let's, for example, say, sorry, I'm confused here. Say if you're playing a 4, in the right hand you're playing a 5. That's a huge example of a slash chord right there. Say you're playing a 1 in the left hand, in the right hand you're playing like a 2 major or something. So it's definitely something that can help out people. This is a kind of an intermediate, kind of beginners, intermediate type of video, so we'll get into it pretty heavy, and people will be blessed. All right, let's start this video with praying. Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. Thank you for this blessing and this great opportunity to reach out to your people. God, I pray that as I'm here and I stand here with just all humility, I pray that the Spirit of God may fill this place, and it may fill the person listening to the video, that they may use whatever tutorials, use whatever they've learned today to just reach out to your people and to minister to the people of God, to cast out demons like David did. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray thanksgiving. We give you all the glory and the honor. Amen. All right, so let's start pretty heavy into this video, into this quick tutorial. So for the most part, I'll be using some examples throughout this, and we'll be using C because visually pretty easy to people. Next video, watch out. Yeah, but for the most part, all right. So let's get heavy into this. So C is composed of all the white keys, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. No sharps and no flats within the scale, but you'll be pretty surprised when you see some of the chords I'm playing will involve some sharps and flats, some diminished here and there, some augmented chords. We'll get heavy into it. So for the most part, let's see, something that I do is a lot is I play one big slash chord is this. So I'm playing the 1, right, in my left hand. And my right hand, I'm playing a 2 major. But I'm playing inversions of that, so one example of this would be within the ending of Donnie McClurkin's I believe You're All I Want. I think it was so for the most part, these chords are used a lot. I use them when going backwards. So say I'm going from 1 to 7. 1 to 7. So for example, a song, say, I don't do it in the beginning of songs. I try my best to try and do it in the middle or towards the end. So if, say I have a song that's like, here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that my God. Simple 1-5 or 1-7 in this case. 6-4 progression. But for the most part, say if like I'm getting to that point and like feeling extra worshipful, and I want to follow the singer some extra more. So here I am to worship, Together. So what you saw there. So it's definitely evoking a lot of emotion playing that type of chord. Yeah, not a lot of people do it, but I try to implement it to everything. Shout out to Nana from Ghana for teaching me everything I know, and including this small melody that's coming along and very important with it. Another thing you can do with it is to run around that scale. So the scale is definitely it's the D scale for the most part. Maybe you'll be skipping some notes here and there, but one example is the so. It's used a lot to end songs as well. So, but for the most part, I'm just running around the scale and saying, just doing. There's not really much of a pattern to it. It's kind of like hit or miss for the most part. Once you get the first couple down, you go down and up. I definitely know some people that do it a lot better than me, but for the most part, yeah, that's the. So I'm just going from the G, F sharp to the back to the 6 or the A, 5, back to here. And then I'm just like going down and seeing where that can take me. So another thing I do when playing that chord is that, so for the most part, it's basic. It's a sharp 4. So I can play one heavy, one bass, and then play that, and it sounds basically like it because it's another implementation of the chord, and you can go around the scale. So that scale is just with your right hand you're gonna be playing. And yeah, for people that are kind of afraid of playing arpeggios, it will come in handy. They do come in handy. So like, try your best if you can. But yeah, these arpeggios are, the fingering is what kind of gets to people, but it's just your 6, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3. That's what I'm playing, and then because it's so fast here, it's a. I mean, the key. One person told me that. They know this person. This person knows who they are. The key is to try and make it sound like it's like a river, like it just flows. So it's like you play the whole thing. You try to make it connect, and it's dependent on how fast you do it, definitely. But when you're starting to learn these things, definitely do it on your own time. Put in a metronome. It works. It definitely works. Let's see, did it too fast there. Try doing it with the pedal or without, and then try doing it with the pedal. The advantage of doing it with a pedal is definitely you can hear the flow much faster without a pedal. But if you practice without a pedal, I think it's a pretty big thing, because if it sounds like it almost flows without a pedal, and then you add the pedal, then I think you got it. So that's there. So that's what implementation of the slash chord. So if you're ending a song, and then worthy to be praised. So, and then you can play there's this melody. It goes do re mi so fi So, and you can follow through with that little arpeggio, not arpeggio, little scale that I taught you. But yeah. It sounds nice when it's fast sometimes. Sometimes. I like that though. It sounds very fast, very nice. Yeah, for the most part, it's a good one. Sometimes people, sometimes when people play to get to the 7, instead of that, sometimes they can play, and it's basically the same thing because you're going around those chords because it's just a 2, and the one is gonna have the 2 major in it for sure. So you're gonna keep that 2 major within the 1, and then you get the 7, a regular 7. You don't need no flats. I mean, unless you want a 7, whatever. But yeah, that's one that I use. Another one, if I'm in this key of C, would be within the 4. So sometimes I'm like, say if I'm on the 4, say you got a song like "Come Closer to Me," closer to me, I wanna hear you, I wanna touch you, those thoughts and those fears. Here I play, instead of playing the 5, it's just pretty normal. I can stay on the 4. So staying on the 4 is always an important thing. Here it's all those thoughts and all those fears. This chord. So my left hand I'm playing a 4, 1, and that 3 flat, and then the right hand I'm playing a 5, and I'm playing any version of the 5. But it works. It definitely works here and there. All those thoughts and all those. You can play around with it, like be all jazzy, and then continue with the song. I use it a lot for worship. I'll definitely say that. It's a segue to get to the 3. So here you have your 3. It works. I think it works. It works. It definitely works. I think I was very surprised by knowing that the 3 flat is used. But the first chord you're gonna be playing is gonna play your regular 4, and then you're gonna move on. Yeah. So it's another way to get to the 3. There are many ways to get to the 3. Shout out to Ryan, Elinam, and David. I hear them play. It can be the same thing. It reminds me of Total Praise. It's the same thing, I think. Another way I get to the 3 sometimes is I do a rundown. This is a weird way. This is a very weird way. Don't listen to me sometimes with this, but I play a weird melody. Nana taught me this. Shout out to him. He said it's weird, but it kind of works sometimes. So if I'm playing worship you, our God. Yeah, I like that version way better. Shout out to Nana for that as well. That's a big thing, integral thing that, an integral piece of theory that's just food for thought in the long run as you start maturing as a musician. Yeah. So we give you all the real progression is just a 6-5-4-3. But if you're playing a 6-4, stay on the 4, and then the 3, I think it works. I think it works. It's just awesome. I love it. It's a different voicing. One thing that I'm starting to conceptualize about music nowadays is that many of the licks and nuances that people play are it's just simply them playing around either a scale or some sort of chord. So for the most part, it's just a simple scale. If you're in the key of F, so, and if say you're in the key of F, right? So, and you're playing that, and then, so you're in the key of F, right? And you're playing. What does that sound like? What does that sound like? It sounds just like this in the key of C. So it's the same thing. It's kind of the same concept, and that's what I love about music, because it's analogous to every key. It's analogous to everything that you use. You can use this with a 4. You can use this with a 1. You can probably use it with a 6 some way, somehow, and get away with it. I don't know, but these things work, and that's the most exciting part. Yeah, for the most part, that's another big slash chord I use. Another one is a 6. So for the 6, everyone's playing regular 6. That's cool. Sometimes with the 6 I play a 1, and with the 1 that encompasses that weird melody that everyone plays. Everyone hears that. The mi latino. It works. I keep saying this, but it works. But that's another slash chord, for example, because it's a 1 in the right hand and a 6 in the left hand. Yeah, so, and sometimes I don't use the 1 so often. I wouldn't want to. So other times I'm playing the 1. I'm playing the 6, right? And I realize it gets a lot darker when you use a 5 on top of the 6. So if I'm on the 6, the 6. So that's the tension. You hear that tension. So sometimes I play. You can play, yeah. Like it goes around with that. It runs around the 6. It runs around the 4. But yeah, I just simply play. Or sometimes I play that, but it's just a 7 and a 5, 7-1-5, and that melody is a sweet melody too. Hear it. So you're just running around that 6 and the 4. That's a slash chord because you're secretly using the 5 and the melodies of the 5. Another thing I do with that is I go to the 6 and then I play. So that's interesting. Makes it another dark tone to this chord. A lot of tension within it. So that tension, I'm playing. The arpeggio is this. Right hand is. So I'm running up the scale doing that. Another thing is that a lot of the chords I'm playing are thirds apart. So. Yeah, it's cool. So these thirds apart kind of help with that. So in this case, it's not a third apart. So it's a slash chord. If it's not a third apart, it's kind of simple. It's a different chord. So you can go around with it. Left hand I'm playing. So that melody kind of works. It's flowing around with it. But yeah. How do you resolve that? How do you resolve something like that? Something so dark. that's sometimes how people switch keys. If your singer is like I don't like this key, switch it, and you're like, okay, I'm in trouble. How do I resolve this? Go to the major. I mean, it works sometimes. But yeah, that's an important thing to take into play. Yeah, that's a heavy slash chord. I love it. You can use it for the 6. You can use it for the 4. And another because the 5 worked here, right? But you can drop the 3, and you can make it. So sometimes I hear keyboardists play. Say everyone's in a worshipful mood, and it's. And they play. So yeah, I mean they play around the 4. Sorry. It works. It's cool. Awesome. Sometimes I don't play there with the 4. I sometimes can play. Sorry. It works too. But yeah, it's a cool thing. I love to play. Awesome progression to use in a worship atmosphere. Definitely keep in mood, the mindful of a worship atmosphere. And the reason why some of these chords they're working is because like I'm using the pentatonic scale for the most part. So the pentatonic scale is composed of C, D, E, G, A in the key of C. So sometimes I'll play the scale out, the full scale. So say I play a 4. And then I'm like, that's the pentatonic scale. All I'm playing. So my fingering with that, the difficulty I've learned is that it's not the scale. It's the fingering. How are you gonna do it? So I'm over here and I'm like 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. So I'm like going up with it. It's there. It's useful. It's awesome. Incredible.